Real news. Honest and fun political talk weekly on the line 90.7 FM. Somebody muted him again. All right, Alex, you there? Oh, I gotta turn it up. Alex,
can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, good. They did it again. It was muted again, but we fixed it.
Why didn't you check this before this started?
Because I didn't think it would be, but I checked it now.
Don't think. You have to go and treat it like your brother.
Oh man,
I can't treat them like you have to go and filter like a complete idiot because that's who they are. They just keep messing with things like a autist.
Don't insult the staff here at the Lion, Mr. Alex. Anyway, we're kidding around, but yeah, I just I at least I remembered and I figured out how to do it right at the beginning and not like 50 minutes into the show like last time. But anyway, so we were just
like, why do they do it? Like, why do they just have this desire to screw with you?
I don't know.
Are they just like, oh, I know this like evil right-wing Nazi's gonna come on the radio. Let's go mess with his stuff.
I don't think so, but we could have our conspiracies. I think it's because like when you're listening on the computer to like videos and stuff, they don't want outputting, but at the same time, then you would just have this off on the soundboard. So I don't know why they're doing it actually. I honestly don't know.
I don't know. Why don't you ask them?
Yeah, I should.
Hey, get over here. We got a couple questions for you.
Yeah, that's what Trump said to Jim Acosta.
You go and interrogate him.
Yeah.
Do some enhanced interrogation.
Yeah, what we talk.
Like Gitmo treatment.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
we don't do anything wrong in Gitmo though, so.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's pretty wintry here. That's why I was actually just playing the song by Rob Dugan called Valet, just a great little melancholy but nice little wintry kind of piece. So get you in the mood. So is it snowed in where you're at?
No, I didn't see any snow out there today. I went out to do something. I had to go and pick up a suit. I'm gonna be like Sargon of Akkad, get my suit so nice looking. Then I'm gonna go and try to dox Jim too. I'll be just like Sargon.
Well, he didn't dox anyone. There's no evidence of that.
He's trying to get Jim shut down. He's like tweeting.
He's doing nothing. Well, he can't tweet. He's not on Twitter anymore.
He's getting his goon squad to go and like try to get the one show, the kill stream, and Jim shut down. He even admitted to it.
No, he didn't. He actually denied it.
No, he wants to get Jim shut down. I can tell.
I don't think he cares, to be honest.
I think he does. They insulted his suit. They take that very lightly.
He doesn't care about his suit. But anyway, yeah, there was snow here. There's snow on the ground still, actually, in some spots. But I woke up and yeah, there was snow there. So I'm like, yeah, winter is here already. I mean, I can't believe it. It got really cold. Like right now, it's 29. It's barely gone above freezing today here. But
perfect time to start learning how to drive, man. You need to go and get it done.
Yeah.
Go and start canvassing for Thon.
Did you see that they?
Oh, I got into a big argument with someone over that because they're like, "Oh, well, these kids can't be doing that." I was like, "Dude, they're not kids anymore. They're adults.
Yeah,
they're not act like adults. That's your fault for being a terrible parent." But
yeah. Have you seen what they do with the frat houses? These people are adults acting like kids, but these are adults. They're drinking. They're doing all kinds of drugs.
They're engaging in intercourse. They're doing drugs. They're adults, so they can do adult things.
Yeah.
They're old enough to go and buy guns unless they're like mentally handicapped or live in a mentally handicapped state like New York. But
yeah, but I know. I think it's rather silly that because. What people don't understand, if you understand anything about sales, if you understand anything about marketing, if you understand anything about awareness or attention, you have to, in order to be successful in selling something or getting people to contribute something, you have to advertise in a high traffic area. So that's why you see advertising on TV, the internet, et cetera, et cetera. But specifically, if you're going to do it in person, you're going to do it in a high traffic area. So you're either going to go to a town center that everybody's walking on, or I don't know, how about a city corner on a busy street? So that's why Thon does that. They go to busy city corners or town corners. You know, I've seen them even in my town, in Westchester, where they will be standing there and they will hold, you know, their cans and they will get money from people. But that's why they do, because it's a high traffic area. They need lots of people because they want to help kids with cancer. They want to raise as much money as possible, and that's how you do it. And so they're banning things that help cancer, that help raise more money for cancer. And I understand it. There's a risk factor. I mean, everything's got risk. Walking across the street is just as risky in many ways.
They have bicyclists. They need to go and ban them if they want to talk about risky behavior.
I know. Cyclists are probably the biggest danger on the road.
They're incredibly dangerous because they go slow and they oftentimes don't obey the speed limit. They're not the speed limit. They obey that. They go over the speed limit. Yeah. They drive on the sidewalk. They hog the road. They're the most worst things. They're even worse than pedestrians.
Well, they're worse because they'll sometimes be in the middle of the road, being a bunch of pricks. So then you have to go in the opposing lane to get around them, which is extremely dangerous, and pass them. So cyclists should all be deported, I guess. No, I'm kidding.
Well, they need to ban those before they start banning the the cancer kids, or the people that helps cancer kids. So Penn State's in favor of letting not helping the research and letting cancer-stricken children die. Yeah, thank you, Penn State, for
it's a good image
for killing kids with cancer, for condemning them.
Yeah, good image to get behind Penn State.
Because of someone who was being an idiot and decided not to wear their seatbelt, got into a car accident. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go and have more people die because of one person's stupid decision. Yep, that's Penn State logic for you.
Is that why it was? I thought the person died because they were going into the street and they got hit.
No. It was the Sally girl. She was in a car and she didn't have her seatbelt on.
Oh, that makes this 10 times more stupid. That has literally nothing to do with
they had 3 accidents this year, but it's not Penn State's fault that Pennsylvania or whatever state gave them a driver's license, even though they're incompetent. If you're gonna have a problem with people driving, I don't know, maybe complain to the state for giving them driver's license when they shouldn't.
Well, yeah, how are they not? Yeah, I would complain if they weren't wearing a seatbelt. That's just basic common sense.
Well, no, the people this year, I think they're just bad drivers. And there was 3 accidents already. Well, seriously, I think that the state needs to increase driver requirements.
I agree.
I'd rather have that happen than have these dummies mess it up for Penn State. Maybe even make them take another test to make sure they're not terrible drivers.
Yeah, definitely for old people.
Well, it's old people. Yeah, they need to get retested once you're 75. You need to be retested once every 5 years, I think.
Oh, yeah, I agree, because old people cause a lot of accidents, and they're completely oblivious, driving slow. But, I'm not going to go into my stories, but all I'll say is that I think the best thing you can do is keep driving to get as much practice.
Says the person who doesn't drive.
No, I'm saying that because that is why. Because I found that if I don't drive enough, bad things happen. But it's also because I think they need to teach you to be better at being more spatially aware. So.
Where's your car? Where's the Batmobile? Where's the Fratmobile? Oh my god! I'm just picturing the Fratmobile. It'll have instead of tires,
Kavanaugh on the wheel.
There's kegs on there. Oh my god, that'd be funny. It'd be a funny vehicle.
But the Batmobile has that big
You need to go practice what you preach. You need to be driving, man. Where's the car? I don't see the car, man. You need to get in that, boy. Fuck around, macaroni.
I know. I'm just when you said Batmobile and Fratmobile, I'm picturing Kavanaugh at the wheel with a beer in his hand, a beer in the cup holder, and instead of the rock out the back, it's just a giant keg shooting alcohol. He's driving.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Oh my god.
See, I think that they should I don't know. I think that they get a little bit overboard sometimes with this stuff. if you're not drunk, I don't see what the problem is with you having an open container in the car.
Well, the
Like,
problem I have is that you're gonna get drunk. I'm not saying everybody
you know how hard
is.
it is to get like drunk.
I know, but
especially if
people
you're,
are
like, a large
stupid.
man.
People are stupid and irresponsible. So I wouldn't even allow the possibility. Like it's an endangerment to society at that point.
Oh, why don't they just go and ban like low IQ people? You know, the dummies
I second
would
that.
do that. Why not just go and like have them not get driver's license or get like a dummy
A
license?
dummy license.
I'll be like, you can't drive, but you kind of can. So here, drive like a Honda Civic,
Right.
like a Toyota Corolla. It'd be like for the dummies, and then like you could have like an advanced driver's license if you actually know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, see, that's why I like it, like a multi-tier system, so that like, and then if you have a higher tier system, you could go as fast as you want.
It's
because
hierarchy.
you're a responsible driver.
Yeah.
But the dummies, they'd be speed limited to like
Speed
limits. If you're like a responsible driver, then like the highway is going to be the autobahn. Like, see, that's how we do it. So then people want to get better at driving.
Yeah, let's give me an incentive.
Because like it'll be like, because they do that kind of with CDLs, but I mean it's for other things. Instead of that, it's like you can drive a bigger truck.
Okay, but here's the problem. What happens when autonomous cars come in and take over?
They can drive however fast they want anyways.
Yeah, that'll solve my problem.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a dummy's car. But like the thing with the autonomous cars is that like, how's that going to help people who don't live in like metro areas?
Well, they're gonna, they're still gonna be able to use autonomous cars. Like it's not
Yeah,
different.
but like, let's say you live in a farm and you use your car for farm things.
Oh, well, yeah. Like it can probably, in those cases you would have to do it by hand. You do it yourself. Like it's not gonna be everybody, but it's gonna be like most people.
It'll be everybody at some point. Like I was in that Tesla the other day, and like half the places over here was like,
love it.
They couldn't autonomously do it because they had road work, construction, or something or other.
Yeah.
It's like, especially in Pennsylvania, it's a problem.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. It's not gonna happen
Pennsylvania
overnight.
because everything's under construction. Like one time I was going near Philly,
Yeah.
and there was like these guys, these road workers, and there was one who was like literally asleep. Another guy was just eating a sandwich.
Oh man.
It wasn't even lunchtime. They were just sitting around, just sleeping on the job, and they're getting paid. That's where our hard-earned tax money's going to, folks.
Yeah.
They're paying for people to go to sleep.
Well, and they're not only they always doing construction, but they're always doing construction in places that doesn't matter, and not doing it in places that do matter, or maybe just road maintenance or construction in general. Like for instance, in my town, there's a crap ton of potholes that take forever to get filled, and the roads are just a mess for months.
This is what happens when the government does anything. Like, shoot, we had in southern York County, like I-83, they had a there's like all sorts of junk in the road. Like the one road's been road working for like 5 years. And you still have to go through like 45 miles per hour road work construction, like to get into York.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been going on for multiple years. Like, what's going on? These people don't do their jobs. Like, I think someone needs to be fired because like they rebuilt like the whole Pentagon and they rebuilt like all this stuff within a year. And that was like, but this has been going on for like 4 years and it's just a highway.
Right.
Like, really, it's not all that hard in the grand scheme of things. Like, why doesn't Trump go and like get the National Guard or something just to go and fix the frickin' roads?
I don't know if they specialize in that.
Well, like, why not do this? Like, if you're a college, if you want to get like discount college, go and like work for the building company, like to fix roads.
Well, they should have prisoners do it again. They should have prisoners do it again.
Oh, they should have like college students do it because they keep complaining about wanting free college and be like,
true.
okay, we have to work, either do that or like fix the roads or build a wall.
Yes.
That's how we're gonna do it.
I second the second one. But anyway,
well, see, like they should build the roads too, because I think that's important too. Because like,
oh yeah,
you're driving on these roads, it's like playing Minesweeper, but instead of like losing a game, you're losing, your
tire
life potentially because the roads are terrible.
Yeah, you're losing your wheel. But anyway, as we've gone off topic for the first 20 minutes, we'll talk about our top story since it's a quick one. But the real top story we'll talk after the break because it just made me so happy as to what happened. But you'll know what I mean in a few. But first, Let's talk about the top story, which is the midterms. On Tuesday, we had the midterm elections. I voted. I assume you voted, unless there's some... What?
Yeah, I doubt that they even count it. This place is so shady where I vote at.
That's what I was going to say, assuming they counted it.
I don't even know. Like, they're like, oh, they were supposed to take that over there. I was like, I don't even care at this point. These people are so incompetent.
Oh, yeah, I know. But hey... Every vote does count, as we're seeing in a lot of these tight races. But
I mean, we're not as bad as Florida.
I was going to bring up Broward County. That's been pretty bad.
What's up with Broward County? They keep having things happen to them.
I know.
Like Florida.
It's pretty bad. Like, they had the Parkland shooting. They had the incompetent FBI and police department that had gone to his place like 28 times and didn't stop him. And then you have the voting fraud. Which is, I'm going to talk about a little bit in a second, that's happening. What's up with this county? And they had the shooter, who we're not going to say his name. He is still eligible to vote right now.
Yeah, that's Florida for you. He's probably one. And all, like, honestly, Florida, no wonder there's so many crazies in there. Like, it's probably where they all go to. They live in Broward County. And, like, that's not even the only thing. I heard that, like, the reason there's so many crazies is, like, they have all these rehab places in Florida.
Oh, really?
And that's where that's where the rehab people go to. And that's why you see people in Florida who are, like, pooping off of Highline poles and stuff.
Is that where a particular friend of ours goes, to rehab centers? Is that why he's in Florida?
Probably. Probably like, oh, God, that person, he's a character.
That's one word for it. But anyway, so the results so far, because there's some races that are actually still being counted or recounted. The Republicans now have 51 seats in the Senate. The Democrats have 46. So Republicans have a 5-seat majority. So their majority grew from 49 to 51. They flipped 3 seats. The Democrats flipped 1. In the House, of course, is a different story. Went according to how some of the so-called experts were saying it was going to go. Republicans now have 199 seats. Democrats 227. It's a big gap now. The Republicans flipped 5 seats, but the Democrats flipped 37 seats, which it's a big gap, it seems like, but it's still not a blue wave. A blue wave, you'd have like 50, 60 seats, like when the Tea Party election of 2010, Republicans got a lot of seats. I think it was over 60 or it was like 80 or something. So it's not a blue wave, but the Republicans held it off. But at the same time, the Democrats, and I can speak from personal experience, like on Tuesday, I was getting a bit nervous because I noticed, I predicted, and I said it multiple times, the Republicans would keep the House, but it'd be a slim majority. I was wrong. And the reason was because I assumed that Republicans be afraid of losing something, they would get out to vote, and that it was going to be a silent majority was going to come out and vote for all these candidates to help Trump, but apparently not. Instead, there was high voter turnout by the Democrats. Both sides had high turnout, but the Democrats had a way higher turnout. Here, specifically in Center County at Penn State, they got 6 times the turnout in the 2018 midterm than they did in the 2014 midterm. So they got out the young vote big time, or at least in this area, and they did a really effective job with their ground game once again. Democrats, I've always said, are better at ground game, especially in contested areas. And I noticed it here every day. They're, shouting at people to get out and vote and shouting at people to register to vote. Down election day, they had vote in the hub signs everywhere. I think this was done by the university, but could be the Democrats. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But they had signs everywhere. I've never had this, way at Penn State where no matter where you walked, no matter where you looked, there was a sign telling you vote in the hub. It was just everywhere, no matter where you were. But, they got a lot of people out. And Republicans had zero ground game here. They didn't door knock. They did little phone banking. They didn't do any get out the vote. They didn't do any register the vote. Nothing.
But whose fault is that? I blame the college Republicans on messing this whole thing up.
Yeah, it might be. It's funny because they kind of have a history
I know
of
that
this.
the college Republican president's best friends and roommates with the college Democrat president. So you tell me if there's a conflict of interest going on over there.
Let's not
I don't
forget.
know. I'd investigate that.
Let's not
Especially if you don't look at the previous college Republican president. Yes. They were friends too. Wonder what's going on over here. This is almost as bad as Broward County. There's a lot of disturbing politics going on over here, and I think it needs to be investigated.
And let's not forget, the former College Republicans president is a registered Democrat who voted for either Hillary or Gary Johnson. We know for a fact he didn't vote for Trump. The current College Republicans president, we know for a fact didn't vote for Trump. Probably voted third party or wrote in something. I saw her with a Carly Fiorina shirt the other day.
Oh God!
Yeah, I know.
Would like that loser.
Yeah, I know.
Liking that.
Total loser. But at the same time, she's also the same person that helped out, let's not forget, with the Tim Kaine event. When Tim Kaine came to speak here, she helped out with that. The College Republicans president, people. Okay? And, you know, I'm just, as a Republican...
College Republicans, this two-face, who needs Democrats?
Yeah. I know. I mean, I'm just disappointed in that because you need the effort, guys, and it's not there. And this is why you lose elections. If you're just there to get positions, to network, and to meet elitist friends, to get yourself a nice, comfy job, you don't care about this. You don't care about the issues. You're not in it to win it. You're in it for yourself. And I'm saying that as a person that I don't care which side you're going to vote for. I just care you're in it to win it. Because, you know, why I love my side to win, I just want people that are involved with this that actually care about it, okay? And
no, I absolutely want the Republicans to win. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're a Democrat, I prefer you not vote anyways.
I'm just saying it for the sake of fairness.
Let's be real over here, but, like, on the other hand, you know, the College Republicans, they need to really, like, not be this terrible. They're setting themselves up to lose. What events has College Republicans held this year, off the top of your head, that did not involve alcohol?
Nope, nothing.
No, none.
None.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Guess what?
All that they do is all they do, like, for being like, they just seem like the meme of what Kavanaugh is. Like, I don't even know if she supported Kavanaugh because she seems like the type that probably wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen the GOP more unified under Kavanaugh, but I could see some people like her not supporting him. But I said last year in a group me, I got a little flack for it from certain people, but it was in a group me where I said last year that the only good thing the College Republicans have done in my time here was bring Sean Spicer, and that was during the Great Debate, which was with the College Democrats where they brought Howard Dean. I was like, this is the only good thing they've done. Like, it was literally the only good thing they've done in my time here.
Yeah, they're just like wastes of time. Like, honestly, they're not even conservative anymore. No. Like, when I was at Penn State, you know, there's a couple people that were conservative, but like now, not in the College Republicans.
Well, that's
like,
why
Turning Point seems a little bit better, but even then, they're not even like a conservative club.
No, but here's the funny thing. Like, they all say, "Oh, we're nonpartisan," but Charlie Kirk is literally campaigning for Trump. And he's literally
you probably find more people who would actually vote for Trump in the Turning Point Club at Penn State than you would at the College Republicans Club, and that's pretty sad.
1,000%. I would bet money on that. But
like, I think that they need to be held to account for their transgressions, like College Republicans. I think they need to go and like the CRNC or whoever the heck the big organization is. They need to go and like revoke their membership in that.
Yeah. Well, they just don't do anything. Like I said, the phone banking was very little, and everything else is just meh. They don't.
To be fair, state colleges, like, you're not going to be turning that unless you had some like act of God, but
they could be going into they could be going phone banking and door knocking into out into the countryside here, but they don't do that.
That'd be a lot better. But no,
the Democrats were doing that
to their liquor runs.
Yeah,
They're gonna go get the
what was that? Liquor runs?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the whiskey run. You know, whatever they drink. They're probably too scared to even drink whiskey. They probably drink like, I don't know, some like apple teenies or something.
Apple teenies? But yeah, it's just disappointing because I just see no effort, no want to win. The Trump campaign here was fully done by grassroots efforts, all students and a few adults, no CR people. They didn't help out with Trump at all. They didn't endorse him. This is why they lose. It's because they don't want to win.
Yeah, in fact, like, the College Republicans actively campaigned against us.
They really did.
Yeah, they did due to some particular events that happened that year, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there.
But anyway, so the Broward County thing is where the election supervisor accidentally mixed up some ballots with some valid ballots with some invalid ballots, and they kind of just like threw them all to the side. It's really weird what's happened. I don't know all the details. Nobody really does, but it's some shady stuff, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it, and there's going to be a recount soon. So we'll follow that.
Like, why is it always Florida? Because this happened in like 2000s. Like, can they just get competent people there, or did all the competent people in Florida move to another state?
They must.
Like, there's something rotten with Florida.
Yeah, it's very strange. Very, very strange. I wonder if like the CRs peoples that the establishment elitists that we've been complaining about are all from Florida.
Oh yeah, like it's just such a weird location. Like, why is it? Because this was not the first time this happened in Florida either, where they had to have a recount.
It's not the first time they've had a mass shooting either with Parkland. Like they had the gay nightclub shooting
Orlando.
Orlando. They had
like Florida's like the posterior end of America, from what I understand.
It's where everybody goes to retire, except me, because I don't want to retire in a hot, sweaty environment.
Yeah, where someone might eat your face off because they had too many bath salts.
It's just a weird state. Like Milo lives there now. I'm like, what are you doing down there, Milo? Probably tax breaks. What was that?
He's a little bit of a strange boy.
I love him though. He's great.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. I don't have any hate for him, but he's definitely a little bit of a strange boy.
Strange boy.
I thought he was from England, or did he like move?
Yeah, he was. He was always from England. That's why he's got the British accent. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure they like banned him or something.
No, that's Lauren Southern.
If he comes back to England, he'll be thrown into the dungeon for hate speech with Tommy Robinson.
He probably will. Like he's even getting kicked out of Australia now. He's I love him because he's just the biggest martyr of free speech next to Alex Jones now. But he lives in Florida now. He moved to America because it's it's been definitely better for his career, and England's not a free country anymore. I mean, it never was a free country, but even more or less of a free country now.
Yeah, like, did you hear what's going on with Tommy Robinson now? Like, PayPal now, like, blocked him.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I did see that.
They denied him service.
Yeah, that's they did that to Alex Jones too. That's very dangerous.
This is there needs to be laws against this at this point. Like, I think that it would be good, maybe an executive order even, just to stop this. Like, if you're not doing something blatantly illegal, you should not be able to have payment processes like taken from you.
Yeah.
I think that would be an easy thing for Trump to do, and if he cared about his base, he would do that. I'd take that over the 14th Amendments or like the Dreamers stuff for the moment.
Ooh. Well, you mean the birthright citizenship anchor babies?
Yeah, I'd take him.
I wouldn't take anything over
an executive order over this rather than that at the moment.
I want them both.
But I'd agree that should be done, but I'd rather have this done first.
Well, in England, though, it's going to be hard for him because technically what he did to get him thrown in jail, he technically broke the law, but it's a stupid, unjust, immoral
law thing. Like, the payment process is being taken away.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying, I know, and I get what you're going at, but you're saying that, unless he does something illegal, he shouldn't get it taken away. But technically what he did in England was illegal, so then that would give him justification to take it away.
Well, yeah, but like something with the payments, like, if you stole like $5 with, or like if you littered, they wouldn't take away your ability to go and have like PayPal.
Yeah, you have to like murder somebody for it to be taken away.
Yeah, you'd actually have to like do something like, murder for hire or something, or like money laundering for them to do that. And even then, they'd probably keep it on longer. Yeah,
I agree. And the problem is that the government, Orwell. The only thing Orwell got wrong was that he thought the government would be smart and efficient enough to be oppressive. But it's the private mega corporations that are smart and efficient enough to oppress people they don't like.
Thank your libertarians for that.
Yeah, I know. I'll talk about that after the breaks. I have problems with libertarians.
Ooh, I found some interesting information courtesy of a Bloomberg Business Week.
Berg? What?
Bloomberg Business Week.
Oh, Bloomberg. Okay.
Apparently, there's been some interesting things happening with 7-Eleven and ICE.
Oh, fill us in.
Well, apparently I was just perusing this article a little bit, but like the company apparently has been using ICE at like the business owner as a tool to get back at like the franchise owners it doesn't like.
Uh-huh.
And like, yeah, there's been a lot of people getting deported and in trouble for that.
I was gonna say you're talking about the I.C.E. ice, not
ICE,
the
ICE, baby, yes.
not, I was saying not the ice that they sell outside the 7-Eleven that you pick up.
No, we're talking about the Trump one.
Yeah, Trump one. Yeah.
Like they're like, I'm surprised they haven't done this beforehand, because I would not be surprised if there was some undocumented immigrants working at ICE.
Oh yeah.
That's the politically correct way to say that.
Yeah.
Because like I've been at some of these places before, and it's kind of like a crapshoot if you'll be able to really understand what the guy at the front counter is saying.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's because, and this is why I tell people that we need to end illegal immigration, because, hey, you like the left is all against these big corporations. Okay, that's great, and greedy capitalism. But you know what a part of that is? It's getting cheap modern slave labor, and that's what illegal immigration is to these companies.
That's why Democrats like it. They want their slaves back. It's been, what, like 100 some odd years?
Well, yeah, and that's
the last time they had slaves.
And that's why
they want it again.
Well, that's why these corporations lobby Democrats and lobby, politicians, is so they can guarantee that immigration reform does not pass, that illegal immigration stays put, so they can get labor that they can pay under minimum wage, under the table, and not have to worry about anything. And that's what they do. But if you're a libertarian, it's, oh, but my freedom. Yeah.
These libertarians, they really get on my wrong side.
They frustrate me more every day.
They're like the biggest problem, I think, on the anything sort of right wing. It's just like the unreasonable libertarians. Like, I can agree with libertarianism, but like when you refuse to vote, or like you vote for Gary Johnson or something,
yes.
You think you're morally superior because you didn't vote for Trump.
God.
Like, you're not helping anyone.
Yeah.
Like, see,
no,
the
you
midterms,
are. No, you are helping somebody.
You really help us out there.
No, you are helping somebody.
Really good.
The Democrats.
Who? Themselves.
Yeah, no.
The Democrats.
No, I'm saying that. I was saying, who are they helping out? I'm like, no, they are helping out somebody. They're helping out the Democrats.
Well, yeah, they say they hate taxes so much. Well, if you vote Republican, you'll get less taxes.
Yeah.
They want to complain about that, but like, at least we hope that you'll get less taxes. Like, they keep jacking up taxes everywhere because that's what they can do. They want to squeeze you dry.
Yeah. Well,
milk your udders.
See what
like
I got that part. What libertarians don't understand for some reason, or it's just the way that they think, they are so principled, so strict that they're absolute principleless, where everything has to follow through with their purity test, where this candidate has to be, let's say, always pro-gun all the time, or always pro cutting taxes all the time, like a flat tax, we'll say. If it's not a flat tax, it's not good enough. We're not going to vote for this person. I'm like, why do you? It's directionally closer to what you want. What are you going to vote for them? If you vote third party, you're throwing away your vote and you're helping the Democrats because you are more inclined to vote right wing. If you vote Republican, you're going to get closer to your beliefs. You're going to get closer to libertarianism. But if you keep voting third party or libertarian, nobody's going to take you seriously. And more Democrats going to keep winning, and they're going to keep getting more support. I mean, look at New Mexico. Gary freaking Johnson, who's the most incompetent, stupid, dumb politician on 2 feet, the guy that doesn't know where Aleppo is, he took 15% of the vote in the race there. And the other, and the reason he got 15% because he ran third party as a libertarian candidate, and he was governor of that state as a Republican, I might add. And so he ran libertarian this time, took away 15%, and the Republican lost. If he didn't run, if at least half of those votes went to the Republican, they would have won. They would have won, but they lost it because Gary was a spoiler candidate.
Yeah, they're just like a wrench in the cogs of the machine. They're useless. Like, I mean, they're useful in their philosophy, but not practically. It's
Yep.
like, these ideas. It's like, oh, it looks good on paper, and I mean, it does, but right now we are not there yet.
Yep.
Like the Democrats will claim with the communists, but instead, I mean, it's not nearly as bad as communism.
Yeah.
But like, it looks good on paper to them at least, and then in real life, it's just terrible. It's like that. I do you see that meme, by the way? It's like, oh, communism's like baking a souffle, and then it's like, oh, and then they showed a picture of like some of the death camps under like Stalin. It's like, oops, I guess I burnt it this time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And like with libertarians, like I've even gotten like like for a week, I was pro privatizing marriage because I thought it'd be the best way to make the gay marriage people happy and the traditional marriage people happy. But then I started reading into it, and then I realized, like every libertarian, like talking point, it's idealistic, because if you privatize marriage, first of all, that means the churches are going to be handling it now, ideally. You're going to have churches then denying people marriage licenses because they're not a certain religion or they're not Catholic enough. So you're going to have issues right there. The biggest issue, though, is going to be dealing with children, because you're going to have different contracts that don't guarantee protections for children, and they're going to get screwed over in all these, marriage licenses of no fault of their own. And that's one case where I think that, the state should do marriage licenses as much as I want them to get out of it.
I disagree on that. I think that people can come to contract for whatever they want. They can go into a contract over access to my horse for breeding purposes. But like, why can't I go into my own contract for marriage?
Well, because like I said, because when you have custody battles, I should have been a little more specific. When you have custody problems, the kids are going to get screwed over these private agreements, because you'll have agreements in there. They'll say like, well, if we go into a divorce, only I can deal with the kids, or the kids can't get this or do that, and they're going to get totally screwed over.
Well, yeah, then you don't sign that contract.
Yeah, but people will.
Well, then that's their fault for signing a bad contract.
I know that's their fault, but it's going to affect the kids, and that's the problem.
Well, look at the divorce courts right now. They're already pretty terrible.
Yeah, but they're better
you can already write stuff like that in the contract. Like, you have prenups, and then you can have things with the kids in there, too.
I agree, but the problem is...
The biggest problem with marriage contracts is no-fault divorce.
Yeah, and I agree, but the problem is when you privatize it, it's just going to get worse. That's the problem.
It was fine before the government started. Like, I think that the government should go and say that, like, you can't have... Like, honestly, the stuff with the... like, look what happened with gay marriage. Like, they had some guy get married who had no intention of, like, even... They weren't even gay. There was two straight men who got married. It was for, like, to win a contest.
See, that's what would happen with privatized marriage. So you'd have stuff like that.
No, that wasn't privatized. That was in like Australia. This was government sanctioned.
That's Australia. That's not America. And the other problem is you'd have polygamy and incest totally perfectly fine. Every state.
No, we still have laws against incest.
Yeah, but then that means the government's getting involved in marriage. People would
still be polygamous right now. Like,
yeah, but I don't think
it happens.
In Utah.
No, it happens in like Dearborn, Michigan.
Well, yeah, but that's like in state by state. What I'm saying is the problem is you're going to let people do incest and do polygamy, and you're going to have a whole
incest
of problems.
Like, that's illegal on a state by state basis.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is if you privatize marriage, you're going to start allowing these things.
No, like you'd have to follow the state laws that you're in. Like you can't go and get married to your sister if your state forbids like incest.
Yeah, but wouldn't state, if you're okay, we might have two different definitions of privatizing marriage, but if you have like a state privatized marriage, wouldn't that get rid of all polygamy laws? Because then that would mean it's not privatized.
No, that wouldn't get rid of polygamy laws. You just have to abide by those.
I mean, I would ideally like that. It's just I don't know if that's that. I don't think that's how it would work.
Like, it depends what you mean by privatized. Because I mean, I think it already is private, more or less. But the thing is, though, is like you get a tax break if you're married. That's like a federal thing.
Yeah, but to get a marriage license, like to officially say I'm married, you have to go to a government place and get that.
You just sign some paperwork.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I don't think like your marriage contract is it can be different per person. Like that's like it's not like a one size fits all thing. Like especially if you have like large amounts of assets, you might have a prenup. And you
Yeah.
can include things in there. Now they could always be thrown out by a judge, which I think that needs to stop. Like that should be declared before the marriage. And if the judge doesn't like it, they should say, "Hey, we can't do this now." But like, yeah, no, I think that it should be like I guess that like they need to go make it. They need to change it, and they need to go and they need to bring back fault divorce and have that be in the marriage contract where you have a divorce clause, and then you have to deal with that. You know, if you want to be no fault, you can put that in the marriage contract. If you don't, then you can put that in the marriage contract. But right now, things keep being thrown out by judges, and that's what makes like divorce court such a landmine of a thing.
Oh, now I'm going back to being pro privatizing marriage. I don't know. I just don't think it's a thing that's actually going to happen. That's the other thing.
I mean, I think like what do you like? The only thing is like I mean, it varies by state. It already is kind of private. Like you can't, you know, they say who you can and can't get married to.
Yeah, but that's the state saying that. That's not private.
Well, yeah, like that part's not private, but the whole like you can put other things in the contract.
Yeah, but there's certain like parameters and guidelines that you have to follow.
Like you can have a business, like just because you can't have like a business that, you know, deals in crack doesn't mean that all businesses are public.
Okay. Yeah, I'll think about this issue some more because like I are you laughing because you're changing my mind?
Yes.
See, I'm open-minded. Everybody's like, "Oh, you agree with Trump on everything." Yeah, I don't. I'm like, you know, or they'll say, "Oh, you always don't change your beliefs." I'm like, "But I do." You know, I don't know. I got into an argument. Well, I don't
know. My thing though is like I think that there should definitely be tax breaks for marriages because it's beneficial and you need it right now because people ain't having kids, and that's why the left is trying to import slave labor from like Mexico in the form of illegal immigrants and legal immigrants.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna pay under like so we need to get like you need to start having kids like now. You're gonna go to a couple kids.
A couple kids. Yeah, but the problem is like people can't afford to have kids anymore.
Well, they can. Geez, I know people down the street of me have like 6 kids.
Yeah, and are they on government programs?
Oh yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. And so I'm paying for it, and then when I pay for it, that means I can't have kids on my own without government assistance.
Oh, see, we need to go make the system burn down at this point. Yeah. Just have like 20 kids and be like, "Yo, government, give me the monies."
That's pretty much what's gonna happen when there's a breaking point.
Race to the bottom until they get rid of it. Be like boom, boom, pow. You know.
Boom, boom, pow. Okay, so we only have like 5 minutes until our next break. We've gone so off topic for so long. They're gonna have to talk about our top story after the first full hour, but we'll talk about right now something real quick, which is Antifa Actually, now I'll talk about the other thing first. Jeff Sessions was fired finally. Yay! After the midterms. Good. Nobody liked Jeff Sessions. Even Jeff Sessions didn't like Jeff Sessions. So he's been replaced by now Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. And to be honest, Matthew Whitaker's appointment is probably illegal. But I know why Trump did it. But Napolitano was talking about this on Fox. There's basically 3 ways that you can, have an acting attorney general. And then the first way is the deputy attorney general takes over, and that's Rod Rosenstein. But Trump definitely doesn't want that because Rod Rosenstein hates Trump and is trying to find dirt on him and is involved in the Russia investigation. So he definitely doesn't want that. And I understand that because that could be a whole slew of issues for him. The other way is that you get a currently someone that's working DOJ that's been confirmed by the Senate for their job into act as acting DOJ. Whitaker has not been confirmed by the Senate for his job in the DOJ. And the other way you could do is when there's a recess appointment, but that's not happening right now, so it doesn't matter. But Whitaker might be okay because he's like interpreting this law as in that he was approved by the Senate for being an attorney in Iowa, 10 years ago. So that's might be how he's getting around it, but it's kind of a clear-cut law. And Whitaker did not take the oath of office though for this job, which is basically saying he doesn't qualify under the law for this job, and that's why he didn't take the oath. So little weird there, but the candidates they're thinking about right now that's been reporting news are Chris Christie, which I think would be.
God.
You don't like Christie?
What's he gonna do? Like steal all the Twinkies? Like command them to be like sent to him?
No, he's gonna close the bridges.
He's gonna go like sit on the beach by himself, and, like deport everyone on the beach so he can go and get a suntan. His big old whale body can get a suntan.
Yeah, he's gonna close some bridges while he's at it. They're also
that's why I need the whole beach, because that's the only way that he could get like no shadows.
Yes. Oh, God. You see, look, I like Christie's personality, but I don't like a lot of the stuff he does like that, like closing the beach just for himself, closing the bridges because it's his like opponent that he doesn't like. Like, it's just like, dude, like it's like I think he's got a good person. I think he can be a good guy, but like that stuff just turns me the wrong way. I think people give him a little bit of unnecessary amount of hate though, and I think it's because he's fat. And I love how the left body shames him. They're fat shaming him. But hey, you say that about some of these feminists, and you're a misogynist. You're a don't make fun of people because of their size. All sizes are beautiful, no matter how big. But
no,
let's make.
Not true.
Yeah, I know it's not true. Fat people are disgusting.
I'm a larger person saying that there's some. You do not want to have like someone who has like freaking more rolls than like a hill. You don't more rolls than the bakery. You don't want that. More stretch marks than like some pregnant with like octuplets.
Octomom.
Oh God, like there's women out there, and the men and men too. There's probably more men actually. You don't want like a sumo wrestler, as a partner.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it's just disgusting. Fat is disgusting.
Yeah,
it's unhealthy.
I mean, being large is not healthy, dude. Like, I went to the gym today. It's a pain to run.
Yeah, and feminists are promoting this as it's body positivity, as it's wonderful to be unhealthy and fat. No, it's not. It's unhealthy, it's terrible, and it makes you unattractive. And that makes people sad. That makes people sad.
It makes you, like, if you get diabetes, then you might not get, like, your member.
Yeah.
You get erectile dysfunction. Ladies will lose their periods. They can't have kids. No wonder so many people can't have kids. Between the erectile dysfunction and women who physically can't have kids due to could they lose their menstrual cycle if they're too fat?
Yeah.
Like that's probably one of the reasons why there's a lot of people like not being born right now.
Yeah. Well, and to get back on topic, the other two people that have been talked about as replacements are Representative John Radcliffe. And now they're talking about the guy I wanted right from the beginning, Trey Gowdy, my man. I love Gowdy. He is tough, smart, and he's not a swamp monster. He's been at against Trump on a few things, but he would serve his country, and he would do a great job. But he retired recently because I think he's tired of the whole system. He knows it's rigged. He knows he's not getting anywhere, and he felt just unproductive. So he might not just take the job, but if Trump asks, I think he'll do it. And I would love to see Gowdy. He would kick some butt.
You guess who's not on that list? Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. Oh, Benji. I'm gonna talk about him after the break because there's something he said that grind my freaking gears. That guy is. He thinks he's smarter than he really is all the time. He's not that smart, and he's wrong on a lot of things. At least Sargon is smart. I say Sargon's smarter than Ben Shapiro.
I don't know.
I like
Ben
Sargon.
Shapiro's a lawyer. I mean, he's not as smart as he thinks he is either, but he's actually pretty smart, I think. He's probably got like an IQ of like 120 to 130.
I just don't like saying it because it inflates his ego of Ben Shapiro.
Like, he's smart, but he's not like, Stephen Hawking's.
Yeah, well, I think Ben Shapiro is a very good debater in terms of a high school debate format, but he does not get culture, he does not get Trump, and he does not get his supporters, and he's done some stupid stuff, which I'll mention. So the big story that I want to talk about, because again, this guy grinds my gears, and some interesting stuff happened with him. So Jim Acosta, he is the White House correspondent for CNN, and I have had a record of trashing this guy all the time, especially on this program. I can't stand this guy because he is everything wrong with journalism in modern America. He has had a history of interrupting Trump at press conferences and just being a total jerk because of it. Now, I know everybody's going to say, oh, free press allows you to be a jerk. Yes, it does. But it doesn't allow you to break protocol in this way. Because his right to the press briefing is a privilege. It's granted to him. I can't go into the press room and do things. But what he's done is during press conferences, he will, when he's not called on, interrupt President Trump and the fellow reporter that has been called on to ask a question so that he can ask a question. Trump tells him to shut up and makes him look like, oh, I'm under assault from Trump. I'm a victim of Trump. That's what Jim Acosta wants to be, a victim of Trump. He wants to become a celebrity by being a victim, a fake victim, in fact. So he's been...
Sounds like him and Anita would have something in common.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And he's been doing this for ages, and it's annoying because he... he acts like he's this moral, upstanding journalist presenting and reporting on real news when he's actually just a phony celebrity wannabe that cries when Trump doesn't call on him and just turns everything into, oh, Trump's attacking me in free press because my feels. Anyway, just so you understand, Jim Acosta is that's the type guy he is. So recently, though, right after the election, Trump held a press conference and Jim Acosta was called on, and he got BTFOed big league by Trump. I mean, it was spicy. When Trump is doing press conferences, they are entertaining, and they are great. And when he picks on Jim Acosta, he doesn't hold back. He's firing on all cylinders, and he makes him look like an idiot. So Jim Acosta was there, moral grandstanding, saying, oh, this migrant caravan is, quote, not an invasion, as you say it is. And he says that they're just migrants. And he cites the ad that Trump had of the migrants. Said, oh, you show them climbing over walls. And Trump just goes, they're not actors. They're not from Hollywood. And Jim Acosta just goes, oh, they're hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion. I'm like, that's the definition of an invasion. I mean, haven't you watched like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings? Like, they march like to invade places from like miles away. They're not like next door, and they just like hop right in. And that's your definition of an invasion. I mean, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So Trump just goes at him, because he's like lecturing him on this. Trump just goes, "You should let me run the country. You run CNN, and if you did." If you did better, your ratings would be much higher. So he just like smacks him right there. Like he's just BTFO'd. And then Jim Acosta doesn't shut up. He's already asked like 5 questions and engaged really in a debate. And so he's asking more questions. So Trump finally, who is still answering his questions, is moving on to another report. He says that's enough. And as Peter, or whatever his name was, as the next reporter. But Jim wouldn't stop, and he wouldn't sit down. He keeps asking questions. Even though Trump had moved on to another reporter, Jim had his turn. He had 5 follow-up questions, even though you're technically supposed to only have 1 question, maybe 1 follow-up. But he had 5 questions. Trump moved on, but he's still asking questions. And finally, a White House intern came up, who was giving the mic to reporters, came up to take the mic from Jim Acosta. And when she tried to grab it, Jim Acosta resisted, #resist, pulled the mic back, and then placed his hand on her, pushing her arm away so that she couldn't take the mic. So he physically touched this aide. Okay, it's on video. And finally, Trump keeps answering his questions, tells him to put the mic down. This is the best part. Trump starts walking away from the podium towards Acosta, and he gets freaking scared. He's like, oh crap, Trump's coming. And so he hands the mic over to the aide, and then that shut him up for a second. And And then Trump, starts talking to the next reporter. And the next reporter goes, "Oh, in Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt." And Trump just goes, "Well, I'm not a fan of yours either, to be honest with you." It was so funny. And everybody laughed in that room, which was funny. And he just got BTFOed. And so Jim Acosta stands back up. He's not done yet. You know, he'd already sat down. Trump's talking to another reporter. He starts asking questions. He just keeps lecturing Trump. And Trump said, I didn't call you, the journalists, the people talking about fake news. And it goes on and on and on. So Jim Acosta was interrupting again and being a total prick and resisting. He wouldn't give the mic back up. And he physically touched a White House intern, which is breaking protocol like you wouldn't believe. So that's what happened, if anybody didn't know. But the story goes on from here. I know I'm going to be monologuing here for 5 minutes, so bear with me there, Mr. Alex, but I got to give all the facts down. So then Jim Acosta tweets on out the night of that. He says that I've just been denied access to the White House. Secret Service just informed me I can't enter White House grounds for my 8 p.m. hit. Basically, he got his press credentials denied. And Sarah Sanders sent out a tweet about this, saying that we will, quote, never tolerate a reporter placing his hands on a young woman just trying to do her job at the White House as an intern. And she said this conduct is absolutely unacceptable. It is also completely disrespectful to the reporter's colleagues and not allow them an opportunity to ask a question. President Trump has given the press even more access than any president in history. And unquote. She goes on to say that he had taken 68 questions from 35 different reporters over the course of 1.5 hours, including several from the reporter in question, end quote. And she, of course, then ended with saying this press credentials have been denied. And Acosta retweets this and says, "This is a lie." And then Ben Shapiro, the great Ben Shapiro, as Alex Jones said, "You're intellectual," said, quote, "This is not what happened. You could have banned him simply for refusing to abide by any of the normal rules of the press room. Then he had to state something happened that didn't." Ben, it did happen. It's on freaking video. Are you stupid? And then CNN's PR group tweeted out the following statement, and you're going to love this. This is their defense. The network that gets triggered when Trump calls them fake news says this, quote, "It was," when they're talking about the press credentials being pulled, quote, "It was done in retaliation for his challenging questions at today's press conference. In an explanation, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders lied. She provided fraudulent accusations and cited an incident that never happened. This unprecedented decision is a threat to our democracy, and the country deserves better. Jim Acosta has our full support," end quote. Jesus. They literally printed fake news. This is why Trump calls you fake news. And you get triggered when he calls you fake news. But what do you do in response to that? You print fake news. You say the incident didn't happen when it did. He placed his hand on a White House aide. It's on video. And CNN, right below this, tweets the video showing him putting his hand on the White House aide. I mean, are they a meme at this point or what? And they went, but it doesn't stop here again. This keeps going, people. You had CNN on their broadcast editing out that part where Jim Acosta puts his arm on the White House aide. They edit that out sometimes. But then they went a step further. Literally almost every single mainstream media outlet lied. They printed fake news saying that InfoWars doctored this video that Sarah Sanders tweeted out. They said that Sarah Sanders tweeted out this InfoWars video that was doctored, edited, and sped up. That was the 3 claims they almost all made, was that it was doctored, edited, and sped up. PJW, Paul Joseph Watson, who works for InfoWars and made this video, showed that it was not sped up, it was not doctored, and not edited. Unless you consider zooming in so that people can see things better, like a replay on a football broadcast, editing, you're an idiot. I mean, you're an idiot. You're intentionally lying to smear InfoWars and to smear Trump and to smear Sarah Sanders. And Paul Joseph Watson showed a side-by-side video, the original C-SPAN video and the one that he tweeted out that just showed the original portion of where Jim Acosta puts his hand on the White House intern, and then there's a replay of him zooming in where he's doing it. That's all he did. That's all Paul did. Now, does the video look absolutely identical? No, because when you edit video, anybody that's edited video would know that the quality is degraded, or through some exporting reasons that when you export it, it doesn't look identical. It looks a little different. That's all. The color was the same for the most part. If they weren't side by side, you wouldn't have noticed the difference. The speed was exactly the same. Nothing was edited or doctored. All they did was zoom in. And, as Paul even showed the timeline of Sony Vegas, his editing software, showing he hadn't edited or doctored anything. But it's not enough. They all lied. Every single one of them jumped on this bandwagon and lied. It is lazy journalism. It is stupidity. And it is bias at its peak. This is peak fake news, people. And guess who the only outlet that I could find to defend Paul and to defend Trump on this one was freaking BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed that printed the fake Pissgate dossier, the fake Golden Shower dossier that was completely ridiculous that even CNN wouldn't run with. I think they later did, but they did. They were like waiting to run on it. But BuzzFeed was saying that there was no evidence that this video was doctored or edited. And they all were jumping on this. This just drove me nuts. This is like, I get passionate, okay, but nothing really bothers me. This bothers me because this is showing blatant bias, blatant lying, and or blatant printing of fake news just to hurt Trump. Because your guy, your elitist pal in your protected class of journalism, Jim Acosta, just placed his hand on a White House aide, did something he shouldn't have done, and you guys just have to defend him. You shouldn't. CNN should fire him. They should fire him for every fake news story he's done. They should fire him for interrupting the Singapore summit and asking about autumn wine beer in front of Kim Jong-un, the guy he killed, and Trump is trying to make peace with him, and you go, what about autumn wine beer? Are you an idiot? That's dangerous. Don't ask that. You weren't allowed to ask questions, but you did it anyway. There's a time and a place, Jim. Okay? And stop interrupting Trump. Stop doing these games. Be a journalist. Do your job. It's a disservice to the country. Okay? I'm not trying to get on a moral high horse here at all like Jim, but it is an actual disservice when you're not doing your job as a journalist by asking tough questions, reporting fairly, and giving people the facts. You don't care about that, Jim. All you care about is your Twitter followers and your likes and your retweets and becoming some celebrity and becoming some victim of Trump so that you can just boost your social status. You don't care about journalism. You don't care about doing good for the public. Now, maybe there's something, maybe you can change, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. And crap like this, where CNN is saying Sarah Sanders is lying, because even though she said what was actually happened, which was he placed his hand on the aide, you were fake news. This is why Trump called you fake news, Jim Acosta, to your face. And we said, you are fake news. And CNN is fake news for printing this. This is why nobody likes you. This is why nobody trusts you. This is why nobody watches you anymore. This is why they mock you and you get all triggered over it. It's because you did this to yourself. Trump didn't do this to you. He just fought back and he made you look like fools. And now you're claiming this video that Sarah Sanders tweeted out is edited? It's not. Stop lying. That's my monologue for today. Do you have something to add, Alex?
No, I think you about covered that topic and that.
Yeah. It just really pissed me off because they get away with this all the time and people believe it. And I'm not saying you should ban any press. I'm all for freedom of the speech. Don't get me wrong. But news corporations need to fire people when they print lies, when they print fake stories. Okay, sometimes you can give them a second chance if it's an honest mistake or if they screwed something up, minor. Okay, but these people like Jim Acosta are deliberately doing fake news. And these news organizations are in bed with them because it gives them ratings and they want to hurt Trump. I mean, it's just disgraceful. Anything for you to add on Mr. Acosta?
No, I think you covered him.
You deep in your RuneScaping?
No, I wasn't doing any RuneScaping. I was looking up some things.
Okay. Yeah, I just had the monologue there because there's a lot to unbox there, and people aren't being given the facts. And we always try on this show to be factual and have our commentary, but I have to I had to lay it all out because this is just ridiculous that this guy is given such a free pass for all his stupid behavior. And then when Trump calls him out for it, oh, you're a dictator. Oh, you are assaulting free press. No, you're not. Trump is just fighting back. He's calling you names. He's mocking you. He's given Jim Acosta so much leeway, so many instances where he could, based on the protocols of the White House press credentials, he could have pulled his press credentials many times, but he didn't. He was nice. He was tolerant. But this one goes over a line when you place your hand on the reporter, and don't give me this crap that he didn't, or oh, he was just reacting. No, you see in the video, her elbow goes down, and that's the action of somebody pushing down, okay? The elbows don't just go down. If he was resisting, she wouldn't just drop like that all of a sudden. No, he put his hand on and he pushed her down because he didn't want the mic taken away. And people like Ben Shapiro are lying when they say that Sarah Sanders lied. No, it's what happened, Ben. Stop being an idiot. Stop acting like you're smarter than you think you are. I mean, I just don't get Ben Shapiro on that one because it's clearly in the video. Oh, God. and it's ironic coming from Ben. I mean, it makes sense because this is a guy that rage quit Breitbart because some girl made some false accusations that Corey Lewandowski yanked her to the ground. They came out with security cam videos that was like they're like 6 frames. It was very crappy quality, but you could clearly see that Corey did not yank her to the ground. She was never on the ground. She made a false accusation, kind of like somebody we know, and in the Kavanaugh hearing, or not the hearing, it was Al-Nai's client, I meant, but she clearly was not yanked to the ground. She made his false accusations. Trump stuck with his man, and he proved to be right in the end, and he wasn't disloyal, and he believed him when he knew he'd done nothing wrong. But Ben Shapiro rage quit Breitbart over that. Is he an idiot or what? Oh, man. And it's the same Ben Shapiro that said that Kim Kardashian shouldn't be in the White House because she's no expert on prison reform, when she was just there to save Elise Marie Johnson, who had a crazy sentence of like life in prison for some nonviolent misdemeanor, and she was helping her sentence get ended, and she was doing a good thing for this person who had an unjust sentence. But Ben's like, oh, I shouldn't have celebrities in here advising Trump on prison reform. It's like, Ben, that's not what was happening. Is it the same Ben Shapiro that said Trump would never that's the Shapiro that's the self-described never Trumper. This is what you get with these people. And it's just, he doesn't get Trump. He just doesn't get, I don't know why it's a mental block for him, but he doesn't get culture. He doesn't get that logic isn't persuadable. It's emotion. It's the things that Trump does. I guess that's why he doesn't like him. But
anything about it with the Acosta stuff?
Yeah, that's where I was gonna end it. You still have nothing to add?
What else is there?
Okay, one thing I want to talk about, and we'll talk about the next thing after the break. But the last thing. But the one thing I really want to talk about is that Tucker Carlson was doxxed by Antifa, and a lot of crazy stuff happened. So Antifa, they doxed Tucker Carlson, they doxed Handy, and they doxed Ann Coulter. But Antifa then came to Tucker Carlson's house and had what the media called a protest. This wasn't a protest. This was an angry mob where his wife actually had to hide in the pantry because she was scared for her life. And she called the cops because Antifa was outside chanting, Tucker Carlson, we will fight. We know where you sleep at night. And they were also chanting mail bombs and synagogue shootings. And then one guy even cracked his door of his house, and they vandalized his property. And just it was a mob outside of his house. His wife could have been severely hurt. Luckily, his kids weren't there. and the account that started the Smash Racism DC was finally banned from Twitter for doxing and instigating this. But again, another conservative is under attack. Another form of left-wing violence that the media just doesn't care about. Oh, it's no big deal. Some of them condemned it. Well, yeah, some of them were silent on it, and some of them called it out, which I'll give them credit for. But Jim Acosta gets wall-to-wall coverage because he's crying over his press credentials being moved after he placed his hand on the White House aide. But Tucker Carlson's house is doxxed, and there are people out there, a mob that's threatening to hurt him. And, oh, that's nothing. That's not a big deal. Oh, no big deal.
I don't even think that the account that doxed him got the Twitter account removed yet.
It was a Smash DC. They got removed.
How long did it take for them to get removed?
It took a while.
Yeah, like, see, they'll take down people like Alex Jones within like 12 minutes of all the other people doing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe not Alex Jones, but with the other ones. So they'll get the conservatives real quick, but if you dox someone who's conservative, they'll take their time with you.
Yeah.
And that's what really gets on my nerve. Like, honestly, I think that doxing needs to be a special, like, criminal offense, especially, like, they need to make a law against it and have it be severely punishable. Like, if you dox someone with the intention or with the apparent intention of, harming them, then if you intentionally dox someone, I think that should be like 10 years in prison.
Yeah, it should be a pretty serious crime because, as you can see, it puts people in danger. It's one of the exceptions to freedom of speech because you're placing somebody in severe danger and you have the intent.
Incitement? I think it should be considered it's incitement.
Yeah, it's a form of incitement of illegal activity and threat, inciting of. It's a form of threat, really.
But I think they need to do a law specifically on this, though, so that like people, they can go and request, they get subpoenas and warrants for the people who post this to Twitter. Yeah,
because the intent of doxing is for people to find you and bring harm to you. That's the intent. And as
get you fired, which is still like emotional damage.
Yeah, it's a form of harm. And it's just insane because, what was I gonna say? Lose my mind here. It's just insane because somebody like Tucker Carlson is a pretty, he's not a radical guy in any way. He's pretty like mainstream right, Trump conservatism, and he's got Antifa outside his door shouting all these crazy things and acting like he's like a Nazi. And that's the problem when you call everybody you disagree with a Nazi. You then you give people a justification to hurt you, even though you've done nothing wrong. And it's only getting worse, and nobody's talking about this. Again, this is what pisses me off. When some guy sends some pipe bombs, which is obviously a big deal, to all these Democrats, it's, a story that's talked about for weeks. But when Antifa does all these riots for months, burns Berkeley to the ground, does all this crazy stuff, and Maxine Waters threatens or encourages harassment of Trump supporters and administration officials, it's nothing. They act like it's nothing. It's a double standard.
I agree. I think that something needs to be done about this. Like, this has increasingly been the go-to move for like leftists, just go dox people. Most of the time, it ends up getting people fired, and I think they should be able to go and like sue the people who dox them for their wage if they get fired.
Yeah.
At least plus damages and like a mandatory sentence of like 5 years. I think that'd be appropriate.
Yeah.
And like with Tucker Carlson especially, like I saw like a leftist article saying that they want to get rid, like they didn't think it was that bad that Tucker Carlson was like, well they said there's only like a handful of people out there and this and that. They were trying to go and downplay. Like, see, that's what the left always tries to go and do. Whenever like they end up doing something really stupid or bad, they'll try to immediately downplay it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, if 9/11 was done by a Democrat, they'd say, oh, well, it only hit 2 buildings. And the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And, that's what they would say.
Yeah.
Like, Pearl Harbor was done by leftists. They'd be like, oh, well, it's just some base in the middle of nowhere. Who cares? What's really bad is how, minorities get treated. They'll go and try to go and blame the Republicans still for them losing. They'll, like, Carson, they're like, they're just something else.
Well, that's the double standard. You see with like Jim Acosta, it's wall-to-wall coverage of how Trump removed his press credentials, how this is assault on freedom of the press. But when literally Trump did nothing wrong, Sarah Sanders did nothing wrong, Jim was all in the wrong here. But when Tucker Carlson gets an Antifa mob at his door, that's not an assault on free press. That's, no big deal. Oh, just,
Yeah, and they tried to blame him for it, too.
Yeah.
They tried to go and blame Tucker Carlson
say he's
for being,
gaslighting.
This, like, right-wing figurehead.
Yeah,
they call him, like, a public figure. Like, they want to blame you for, them hurting you.
Yeah. It's
they'll punch you in the face and sue you for breaking their, wrist.
Yeah. There's no personal responsibility. They're not the biggest believers in it, I guess. And it's always, they always say, oh, but he was gaslighting them. I hate that word
so much. I hate that word. Like, it's just become such a meme. It's like 9 out of 10. This. They haven't gone to talk about dog whistles. I think the term gaslighting is a dog whistle.
You just combine the two words I hate together perfectly.
I hate dog whistle too. Like, it's just one of those words that popped up out of nowhere, and then they started going using.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, dog whistling is like the definition of mind reading. You think somebody is saying these things, but they're not. You're mind reading. You think they are, but you don't know that. And then gaslighting.
It's just like, why would you dog whistle? Why wouldn't you just go and say it? It's like, oh, well, if he said it, people would understand that he's really a racist. Like you don't have this, like, they think that there's like this contingent of like white supremacists out there who go, it's like Manchurian Candidate, when they hear the code words, they'll spring to action like a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
It's just like, they have these conspiracy theories, but then when it gets to the right's the only one with conspiracy theories. Every time you hear the word dog whistle and gaslighting, that's like a conspiracy theory right there, but they don't ever get called out for it. It's only the right who is conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
And then another leftist conspiracy theory, the wage gap.
Yeah.
The
rape culture.
What's that one? The patriarchy.
Rape
culture. It's a huge conspiracy theory, and that harms men.
Rape culture.
There's so many of these conspiracy theories. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the wage gap, rape culture, patriarchy.
In America.
Yeah,
that probably exists in some other countries, but not in America.
Yeah, some
not in the West in the past. Like, I don't think ever. Like, you look, like, read King Arthur. Like, if like the left, like if you had like your rose tinted like leftist granny glasses on, you're reading like King Arthur, maybe you'll go and see, oh well, King Arthur went and he raped Gwendolyn or something, and they're like he high-fived the Green Knight. Like, no, that never happens. Like, what are they talking about? Like, no, I've never seen a real, like, a legitimate thing where men like high five people who are rapists. Like, no, they'll get their face beat. That's why chivalry was invented. They forget what chivalry was. That's a Western invention, folks.
Yeah.
We were the culture, compared to other cultures, actually did like some African cultures where they had like marriage by abduction, which is basically rape. That wasn't a Western phenomenon. Most maybe back like pre-Roman times possibly, but for most of Western history, that's not been a thing.
Right, and men hate rapists. Like, even criminals hate rapists because when rapists are sent to prison, well, something happens to them.
Well, I don't know about the whole prison thing because that's probably where a lot of rape goes down.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like,
they'll
punish the rapist by raping them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But they're rapists too if they rape somebody.
Yeah. They keep spraying these fake memes, these fake ideas. And the last thing I'll say is I mentioned meming, and we have to go a quick break. But you notice how they're trying to meme, like, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg just fell a few days ago, broke 3 of her ribs, and now she was in the hospital, and now she's out. But you notice how the left is like, I don't know why, for like the past few months, they're trying to make her into like a forced meme. They're like, oh, she's cool and hip. She's like this cool granny, and they're calling her notorious RGB.
What? I said something.
Yeah, I'm serious. There are shirts and stuff that say Notorious RGB and it's her face with a crown on it. I won't say her name, so the one person we know said she saw somebody who had a shirt that said Notorious RGB on it.
Well, see, I'd be confused when I see that. I'm gonna think Notorious RGB is gonna be about like colors or something.
No, it's
Like,
some rapper. It's some rap. Yeah.
I know, and it's like Notorious.
Oh, sorry, it's
B.I.G.
RB. Yeah, no, yeah.
You know, but
No,
like,
it was,
with that
sorry,
whole thing,
RBG.
Like, no, like she's one meme away from like death. I think she's so old. She shouldn't be in the office.
She looks like she's
like,
about to 85.
die. She should be in the retirement home, not the Supreme Court.
Well, I'm sorry. It's a Notorious RBG. I always screw it up. I keep saying RGB, but it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so it's RBG. But there's like this, like, why is she like all this like I was watching this trailer for this documentary called RBG, and it's like, oh, she's such an massive pop culture icon. I'm like, what? Since when?
I hate this, like, this idea that like they're forcing you to enjoy their culture. No, that's not my culture. Like, this is just upsetting me with Hollywood and leftists in general. That's not my culture anymore. I don't want this culture. I never was a part of it. We need to make our own culture.
My culture's not a costume.
No, like, this is just like cringe. Like, that's that's not cool. Like, you're just trying to go and keep her on like meme life support. I think it's time to go
I'm thinking of that Pepe.
Have her retire before she wastes the rest of her life in the Supreme Court and going to work every day and all this other stuff. Like, she probably have leftists like Uber her to work every day.
I'm thinking of that Pepe meme where he's got like the mask on and it's like a tube to the mask and it's like feeding him memes. That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
They're trying to, but like, it's not going to work.
No.
She's a bad cold away from pneumonia.
I know. Like, you look at her. Like, I saw her in an interview where she's talking about Kavanaugh. She looks like she's about to freaking die. She's like hunched over. Her head's like like positioned in a weird way. It's crooked to the left. And she's like speaking.
I hope that she decides to peacefully retire soon, because if she does, then we can do whatever we want at that point.
Oh, Trump is. This is why they're so pissed. Because I would love for Trump to nominate a woman, because then they can't Me Too him.
I don't even care at that point. They're gonna have enough control. And even if Ruth Ginsburg passes away or like retires or something, that's gonna be enough hands in the Supreme Court. We can do whatever we want
For generations.
We'll have the keys to the castle for the next like 40 years.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that when Trump tries to nominate somebody, they're going to really fight this one. Because, yeah, that means the conservatives are going to have a hold on the Supreme Court for like generations. So Trump has to nominate a woman now. Because if he doesn't...
I think what they're going to do, if Trump gets another nomination, someone like try to assassinate them. I think that's the next step. Because they're going to feel hopeless.
Well, because they can't Me Too a woman. They can't Me Too a woman, can they?
No, they couldn't do that. That'd be true. Who was that other person who was Kavanaugh didn't get in?
They were looking at Amy Barrett, but she's inexperienced as can be. She's only been a judge for like literally a year. She's not gonna get it. But they'll find somebody else.
Do it anyways because we have enough people in the Senate to confirm her.
Well, yeah. Well, again, libertarians. This is why you can't lose Senate seats and vote for the third party.
Well, didn't the Senate seat actually increase?
Yeah, we got 5 or more.
Yeah, so they'll secure this even more.
I know, but it's
frustrating.
Isn't
that the only ones that matter?
Yeah.
Like, isn't the Senate the only ones who deal with the nomination?
Yeah. It's only the Senate. The Senate confirms them. But this is why I'm frustrated with libertarians again. It's because we lose Senate races because they vote third party. Like, if you didn't do that, we wouldn't have these Supreme Court justices confirmed. Like, just they're frustrating.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That was a beer cheese.
Nice. I'm gonna get some dinner soon too, because I'm starving.
So what's on the last topic?
The last topic is the Red Dead Redemption 2 controversy.
Oh.
This has been a fun one. So, a gaming channel called Shirako, I think that's how you pronounce it, uploaded a video titled Red Dead Redemption 2 Annoying Feminists Fed to Alligators. Now, that's funny itself, but
I need to find them in there. I haven't found the feminists yet.
you need to find her, please. There's this, if you don't know the context behind this, in this game, it's an open world Western game where you can basically shoot and, beat up and rob and do anything you want to anyone, including NPCs. And we're talking about, actual NPCs like in games, not the meme.
Yeah, not CNN.
Yes. Yeah, not CNN or Jim Acosta. What?
CNN PC.
No, one of them was MSNPC. That was a good one. But so this one guy found this like street protester, this fat, I'm just describing her, this fat girl that was like saying, women need the right to vote. Men are ignorant. We should have a say. We're Americans. Now, obviously everybody agrees that women should be allowed to vote, but the person, this NPC was acting like a feminist. She was, first of all, she's fat. Second of all, she was annoying. And third of all, she was like man-hating. And so this guy punched her and then took his lasso, lassoed her, dragged her by his horse. And then put her on the horse, went through the marshes, and then fed her to the alligators.
I know where alligators are too. Like, do that.
I know. It's so funny. You got, like,
God, use her as bait for the grizzly bear.
Yes. But see, the funny thing is like he did nothing wrong because this is what you can do in the game. He uploaded the video because it's funny and he got 1 million views for it. But YouTube wasn't laughing. They suspended his channel for a few hours over this. And they find they what was that?
Well, the funny thing is too, you can find videos of people, police officers, civilians, just everywhere on like YouTube. You can look that up, but they only care when it's a feminist. You can go in like lasso police officers and feed them to a gator, and no one would care. But as soon as you do it to a feminist, you get YouTube up in arms, aka Google.
Yeah. Who
want to suppress your freedom of speech, who don't believe in it. They wanna suspend your account for playing a game the way it was meant to be played. 'Cause it's an open world game, you can play it however you want. It wasn't like they unlocked some secret graphical code or something. No, it's just playing the game. And if they wanted to ban it, then they should have never put that in the game. They want to, they did this big thing with YouTube gaming. They want to be more like Twitch, but then they banned this stuff. I don't want to be that much like Twitch. Come on.
And the thing is, it's like this is not like it's a graphic video of like a real life feminist like getting shot like in the real world. This isn't a video. What was that?
That was my vape.
Oh man, you're part of the problem. And it's in a video game. It's not real life. This is a video game. There's already like restricted mode on YouTube for like little kids and whatnot, which is already has its problems. But this is general YouTube. There's Call of Duty videos with much more gore and violence than this. There's not even any blood shown in this video. It's just a guy punching a feminist and then dragging her to the gators. It's just funny. It's like, oh, you could do this in this game. And what makes it funnier is because of like Gamergate was all about these feminists getting up in arms and triggered that, and they had this conspiracy that video games were making men violent and that there was this patriarchy and all this stuff. And so this is like a big like middle finger to feminists because they took a feminist in a video game and fed her to the gator. So it's ironic. But once they lifted, they brought this guy's account back. His suspension was removed. And so what was the next video he uploaded? You want to know what the next video he uploaded was? The first one from when he came back was uploaded, quote, Red Dead Redemption 2, deporting a Mexican.
You can do. I don't know if you can deport them. I know you can find them. I accidentally killed one today.
Oh, you awful person. Were you ice?
No, like I was trying to go and hunt birds, and it went to red. Like if you ever played Fallout, you know, like the VAT system or like the original Red Dead, they had the dead eye mode, and like I was trying to shoot a bird, but that shot the Mexican dude instead. I pulled like literally a Dick Cheney with that. Because I was bird hunting and it shot him, and then he was pissed off, so I had to go and like deal with him.
Oh man! Oh, you
got my $10 back at least.
Yeah, Dick Cheney didn't. Oh man!
I had to go and loot his dead body.
You should. No, you know what would be funny if you did that? I will die laughing if it popped up and it said achievement unlocked, Dick Cheney, hunter.
That's what I hated about that game. It's like the dead eye mode. Multiple times I've accidentally shot the wrong person. It's like they were standing in front of me when I did it.
Oh yeah.
Like they have all this AI and stuff. They can't figure a way to go and like stop that.
What if it automatically shoots the feminists?
When you're trying to the funny thing was, like, earlier I rescued some like Mexican lady from the law, but then ended up getting like a $60 bounty to go and kill half a dozen like lawmen out to get me.
Oh my god.
Because they're saving the Mexican. I was like, I should have just let her get deported.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing also is that when he deports the Mexican, he just kind of puts him on horseback and just dumps him somewhere, which is just funny. But the funny part is the video he uploaded the day before the feminist video was titled Red Dead Redemption, Finding the KKK and Killing Every Single One of Them.
There's a KKK in here?
Yeah. He found them and he just started like massacring them. But that video doesn't get removed. That one doesn't, but the feminist one did.
Oh, of course, because they have an agenda with that. Like you can kill civilians and it's fine. Just killing innocent people. Yeah. But if the innocent person's a feminist, there we go. They're more important than regular people. They're more equal than them.
Yeah.
No, if they want equality, then they need to go and like treat them like the regular people in the game. I bet Rockstar probably got kicked out of that. I mean, they're an interesting game company.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they're into the politically correct stuff.
They're not really.
I mean, they probably have a few leftists in there, but they're not. They're more like I think the like South Park sort of with their style because they've been attacked by both the left and the right.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's funny. Like, I always, like, I never played the first Red Dead Redemption, but I thought it looked pretty cool. But this game I heard nothing about till it really came out, and I thought, oh, it looks pretty cool. But when I heard this, I'm like, I love this game.
Maybe next time you come up here, I need to show you that.
Yes! We can find the feminists together. We gotta do that. Oh,
yes, you find the feminists.
Yes!
Like, pin the tail on the donkey. The lasso on the feminist.
It's like a bounty.
Knives, so you could pin the tail on the donkey. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get arrested in the game.
Yeah.
I try to be a good character in the game. I keep accidentally killing people. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. We should put a bounty out on the feminist.
I don't think you can't really do that.
Oh, really?
I mean, you could go and abduct them. You could put them in front of the train tracks. You could feed them to any manner of animals. You could beat them up, but like. I don't know if you can't really put bounties on people. Like maybe if once they make the online like part of it, then maybe you could. But right now, I don't see that as a possibility. Like it's a fun game, but like I don't know. I feel like they need more weapons in it. Like there's only a handful. Like and I mean I get it that it's kind of limited because of the time period. But like there's a lot of weapons. Have you ever seen the YouTube channel Forgotten Weapons? They show me all sorts of crazy crap they had, like 16-shot flintlock pistols. And
oh wow!
Crazy weapons from back in the day. So I'm sure they had weapons back then, but they just don't really have them in this game. Like they should have some more, I think.
Right.
But you can at least dual wield in this game. That's pretty cool.
That's nice. That's very inaccurate. If you're trying to shoot that way, like it's very inaccurate, but it looks cool.
Well, you can go and I mean, it's actually pretty they have the weapons are pretty accurate. I think.
I'm talking about in real life.
Oh yeah, with the 16-shot pistol.
No, dual wielding.
Oh yeah, that would be a pain in the butt. But I mean, it's a game. I like when they have that. That's why I like Halo 2 a lot and Halo 3. Like all the other ones kind of sucks. They got rid of a feature. Like who does that? It's like, oh, cool, we're gonna get rid of something. And that's why I hate automatic cars. They get rid of the feature of like you actually doing something useful with your hand other than eating a cheeseburger. No wonder Americans are so
or
fat.
vaping.
Like that's why Europeans drive manual cars, because they don't need to be eating a cheeseburger with that hand. So what else are you gonna do with it?
Vape.
Yeah, like see, you can do it with the manual too.
Or you do what I do, which is, well, we're not gonna talk about that.
You know, to get into car accidents.
That's what I was joking. See, at least I could joke about things like, uptight, like PC people. You can't even joke about these things, That's what you see with this Red Dead Redemption thing. It's like they can't take a joke.
Dude, I was in this argument with this PC person who was like the Penn State student on the internet today.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, I think it was another who was mentioning this and was like, oh, so how do you deal with your kid? Because they're complaining about the that where they canceled the canning or canvassing, whatever the heck it is. And they're like, oh, well, how do you deal with them driving normally? It's like, oh, well, I take the subway to work. Like, so why do you have them go to Penn State if you don't want them? Like, why don't you just have them go to a school in the city if you're so afraid of them?
Yeah.
Like, driving. Like, people who don't drive cars, that grinds my gears.
Don't worry, I won't be like that.
Well, you need to get your car, man. You have a car, go get it. You can keep your doctor, you can keep your car.
Wait, but we couldn't keep our doctor.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't had the doctor in like 2 years.
Jesus.
I just never got. Well, I went to the urgent care because I had to for something.
Wait, but you do like.
Cough, I didn't go.
Wait, you do like well checks every year, right?
What?
You do your well check every year, right?
My what?
Your well check. Where every year they check to make sure you're all doing good. A physical. That's what it's called.
I don't think I did a physical since I was in college.
Jesus, man, that's not good.
Well, they did the one thing where they took my blood. I guess that was a physical.
No, that's not physical. That's a blood test. That's just a blood test.
They did the blood test. They weighed me. They did all sorts of, shenanigans. But
shenanigans.
I don't know. They didn't hold my testicles.
They don't do that anymore to me. They don't do that anymore to me.
It's like weird. Like
it was.
You know how they do with girls too. Like with the girls, since they don't have that object, they do something else.
What do they do?
I think they put like 2 popsicle sticks in somewhere.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I'm not even joking. I think that's actually what happens.
Yeah, and then
well, see, like girls are so complicated. They have to have like an OBGYN. Why don't we get like an OBPYN?
Because reasons. Men are simpler. I guess they were
also.
But
like I've seen men do some pretty stupid things with their wanker.
I know. I've seen. Oh, actually, I have not seen it IRL, but I've seen. I
knew some guy. Sparklers and.
Sparklers.
Yeah, a couple drinks here and there, and things happen.
And you wonder why I don't drink.
Gotta be a Kavanaugh, Drink beer. I like beer. I still like beer. Drinking a beer right now, man.
No. Yeah, see, here's the funny thing. You all are laughing at me now because I'm not cool and I don't drink. But in 30 years, when I'm running for public office or I'm a public, person.
Yeah, they'll call you Hitler because guess who else didn't drink?
Oh, come on. He must have drank.
No, he didn't. He was a vegan.
What?
He loved animals. Oh, yeah, and he didn't drink.
Yeah, but regardless, they can't pull any Me Too's or any Kavanaughs
call you like the
on
Trump
me.
now, and they'll find ways to call. See, Kavanaugh didn't even do it, and he still got Me Too.
I know,
he was
but
a virgin.
Yeah, I know, but he drank. I've never drank alcohol.
They're gonna say that you ate too much soy or something. You're gonna find out years from now he's drunk.
I was drunk on soy.
Eating too much Soyos.
I love them. They taste great.
Unless the taste of your testosterone melting away.
No, dude.
Or embrace your mother. It's like when you eat an Oreo. It's like, oh.
Dude, my testosterone's bumped up the past few weeks ever since I did that.
See, Mr. Dr. Pants, why don't you go to the doctor test your T levels? See if you
maybe I will.
Exceed that of the BuzzFeed editors.
Oh God. Oh, here's the thing, dude. I felt way more confident over the past few weeks. Way more. I despise people that are weak in their betas. I've become more confident, more assertive over the past few weeks than I ever have in my life. Just ever since I did that.
What happened? Did you have like a milkshake?
No, I did something very executive, let's say.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
And it started happening a bit before that because I was realizing everybody else didn't have the gumption to do it. Yeah, and I'm like, I can't believe.
Can you say cojones?
You can say cojones. Yeah, sure. But I started realizing, like, I'm the only one here that's like actually got the gumption to do it, and I did it, and you
got the guts.
The guts.
Got the guts, kid. With a G, not with an N.
So my point is that, you know, I think I'm improving, and that's a good thing. Like, wouldn't you agree I'm improving?
I think so. When was the last time I've seen you? It was a couple weeks ago. You come up here when I get the house. You go have a party.
A party with me? What are you talking about?
You have a party.
Me at a party? That's absurd. I was at one last night.
I don't have one of them, you know.
Straight edge parties? What?
Straight edge parties are cool.
Yeah.
Not really.
Nah.
You know?
Hey, parties are fun. See, look, that's why I tell people I can have fun without alcohol. That's it. That's it.
Oh no, man.
It's easy.
It's that little, you know, tingle tangle, that little gumption in your numption.
No,
you know?
It's smart and mature and healthier.
Alcohol, you know, like a lot of people lived over said they drink like a glass of wine every day or something. My great grandfather's 95 plus. He probably drinks more than I do.
Because correlation equals causation, right, Mike?
I got good genes. Like he smoked all the time too.
Right.
You know? I have the alpha genes, like the best set of genes out there.
Right. Well, we gotta end now. Unfortunately, I'm gonna play. First, I'm gonna play a song called "BTFOed" by Ramin Djawadi. It's a Hey, hold your horses. It's a song from Westworld. I thought we played since we're talking about Red Dead Redemption. It's a very good song, very underrated composer. But then at the top of the hour, we're going to be playing Farewell Britannia by John Edmund.
Didn't we have that other song on there?
What's it called?
John Edmund. We should have played that one because it's Rhodesian Independence Day tomorrow. We need to go to the Troopies.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more real news.